that I became Jenkins's parliamentary secretary, and that really finished me then inside the Labour Party in Wales. That was, without me realising it, I didn't realise how small-minded they could be. When I became Jenkins's parliamentary secretary, that was it. I now had made myself clear where I stood on so many issues. He was not one of us, because very few of us are Jenkinsites. Well, there were only a handful, 6 of us maybe, were Jenkinsites in Wales. All the rest were Michael Foot loyalists. But I got on with Michael brilliantly. He'd been to tea in my mother's house 2 or 3 times. And in fact, I will claim a lot of credit for switching Michael Foot to be pro-devolution. I didn't go and see him and go into a room, but when the debate was on about should we have an elected council for Wales and the Welsh Assembly bill, the reorganisation of local government bill, I bumped into him in the corridor and I spent a few minutes with him all the time. I said, now come on Michael, can't you see? And can't you see how important you are? You know, listen to what some of your colleagues are saying. You can't believe. You come from a liberal tradition. Your father was a Liberal MP. And that's how I used to play on him all the time. You can't be with Leo and Neil and all these other centralisers. You must be a devolutionist at heart. That's what you are. You've got to be. You believe in democracy. I listened to your speeches in Parliament and they were outstanding. It was a joy to listen to Michael Foot. An absolute joy. And I think I got through to Michael without question. And he was one of the signatories to that motion. And that shook all of them. That shook Kinnock and Leo, and they suddenly realised they haven't got Michael Foot now on their side. And that was the start of how Labour, after I'd gone from there, and then John Morris and people, they now started to have powerful people on their side. Because whatever you thought, Michael Foot was a powerful guy inside the Labour Party. Because of the respect. I disagreed with him on some things, but I never disrespected him. He was an outstanding person. And there were many others. I mentioned Roy. I thought Powell was a tremendous man. I didn't agree with his views, but whenever you saw his name up to speak, he was speaking, I dropped down whatever I was doing. Go listen to him. Amazing logic. Amazing. You know what I mean? There were some outstanding speakers there. The guy who was only there for 3 weeks, I think, and he dropped dead in the Commons, MacLeod, the Chancellor of the Exchequer in Heath's government. Great speaker. Heath himself wasn't bad. Harold was very funny, very good. George was your end-of-night entertainer. That's true. Whenever the party wanted to have a bit of fun against the Tories, let George wind up the debate. And he would bring the house down. Really, really, really. That was the only plus I could say for George. He was a real great entertainer. But beneath it all, very vicious man. Very vicious man. Once George became your enemy, you were in trouble. You really were in trouble. Because he was known as Wilson's ENT, ears, nose and throat. He would go and tell Harold everything. And half the stories weren't even true. Because if he disliked you. And then as time got on, you realised there was enmity between him and Callaghan. There was enmity between him and Cledwyn Hughes. There was enmity between him and Will Edwards and Alistair. Because of language. And he thought they were crypto-nationalists. I'm in the Labour Party. We're being used. Can't you see, boys? We're being used by these people. 6 or 7 of them, they've infiltrated the party. That's what they've done. Plaid Cymru, they are all. And then he started, you see, he then started to have an article in the Liverpool Daily Post. And that did tremendous damage in North Wales to Labour. In Anglesey, Gwynoro lost, Merioneth was lost. It got so bad, we went to see Harold Wilson, 3 or 4 of us, and said, look, unless this is stopped, you are going to lose these seats. But nobody believed us, see. And come February 74, that's what happened.